Hey everybody, how you doing? It's Kevin. I've been looking at some things on YouTube that are very interesting, and it brings me back when I was a little kid in the ghettos of Brooklyn. They talk about self-policing, and we were in poverty. We didn't have anything. We had Jim Crow, racism, all this other baloney. But we had self-policing. The men took care of the neighborhood. If you did something in my neighborhood, you disappeared. You know. If you did something in my neighborhood, man, a cat would try to bust his tail trying to get to the cops before the men of the neighborhood got a hold of you. I don't see nothing wrong with self-policing, you know? I'll tell you one little story. It sticks with me forever. There was a little girl, she was about, I don't know, 3 years old, raped and thrown off a rooftop by a guy at the time. We didn't know anything about mental illness and all of that. He raped her and threw off a roof, and it looked like a little rag doll. And that haunts me till today, man. I didn't even know the kid. I was just a little kid. But I was looking out of my window in this garbage heap, you know, and there was a little girl just laying there, man, naked and just, dead. The men in the neighborhood found out who that was, and they found him a day or so later hanging from a meat hook to let you know we don't tolerate this nonsense. Now we had no idea that the guy was mentally ill and all that. I was about maybe 8 years old. I'm 64 years old, and that still sticks with me. Now I don't see anything wrong with if someone does you wrong to do them wrong back. I don't follow all that Christian stuff. You know, uh, I believe you got to speak a person's language. I'm no militant and all that other stuff. But where I grew up at, I grew up with a lot of hatred and violence. You know, New York is a very ethnic city, a very segregated city in the 60s when I grew up. You know, you didn't go over here, you didn't go over there. You stayed in your neighborhood. You had, where, you go to a park and all of that. But then when people started to say, hey, there's one, let's go get him, you know, I saw, guys in my neighborhood would come out of nowhere to defend somebody, and people got hurt, and people didn't stick around to see if someone died or not. I've watched this, you know. But you know what? The next time someone walked down the street, people thought twice before, let's go get that little Negro, you know. It's like open season on Negroes, and the men of the neighborhood, the teenagers of the neighborhood, they didn't say nothing. They just took you out, you know. Had no problem. And the cops were afraid to come in my neighborhood. You know, they were afraid because they wasn't coming out. If you started some garbage in my neighborhood, we would the men in the neighborhood would finish it. Like I said, I'm a little kid just watching all of this. So I always thought that's the way it's supposed to be. If someone does you wrong, do them wrong. Eye for an eye, tooth for tooth, life for life. And that's the way I was raised. Otherwise, be a gentleman, be a gentle man, try to live right, try to be righteous, not self-righteous, but just try to be a good person. But don't let nobody spit on you, and I'm way too old to change now. I'm a family man. I'm a grandfather. I ain't got no fight with nobody, man. But they got some folks out there, man, that I totally support. I'm not gonna say no names and all of that, but man, you totally got my support, man. You know, there's nothing wrong with self-defense. I don't know why black people don't believe that we should not defend ourselves. That is the dumbest thing I ever heard in my life. You're just going to let someone abuse you and bully you. That just makes no sense. You know, I've had, people try to bully me as I've gotten older. And, I've let them know, hey, you're not going to bully me, you know, and that's all I'll say. And, I've joined a gun group, gun organizations, man. I believe in bearing arms like any other person. I mean, have a fighting chance. Why would you let someone just take your life, man? Just nonchalant. You know, there's no man. It ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun and the hunter's on the run, man. You know, where I grew up at, if you did something to somebody, you knew there was going to be retaliation. It's not going to hurt your family. It's not going to hurt this. No innocence. The men of the neighborhood came after you. They look like janitors and, guys worked. They have lunch pails and all of that. And they would sit around and say, okay, this is who we're taking out. And they used to take people out and you disappeared. They didn't leave bodies on the street and all that stuff. But you didn't go around hurting innocent people. I hear about babies getting killed and old people getting killed and innocents getting killed. Man, that just, my blood boils, But I do believe in self-defense. So I don't believe in bullying people and hating people and all that other stuff. But you know what? You think differently if you know that if you hurt somebody, you're going to get hurt too. That's a hell of a, it's a good equalizer. And now with black folks taking up guns, I'm the most passive guy in the world. I'm a Navy veteran, man. I don't know a damn thing about guns. When I was in the service, we fired a .45 3 rounds. And now I got my neighbor who's an Army veteran taking me out to learn how to shoot. Now I know how to do other things, that I won't talk about. I have a different skill set, not shooting mano a mano, but I Navy, we do mass taking out, man. That's what we do in the Navy. Break shit and kill a whole bunch of people in one shot. That's what the Navy does. I'm sitting here looking at all of this stuff happening, man. I'm thinking about my kids, my wife, my grandkids. Just taking a pick and a buck knife to somebody. No. The nonsense has got to stop, man. I'm the most law-abiding citizen. I'm the most passive person in the world. And even I'm getting a piece, man. I might get a couple of pieces. And I'm starting to hang around people that got pieces and teaching me how to use a piece. I'd rather die on my feet than grovel on my knees, man. Them days are done. I'm tired of it, And I'm an old man, So the days of bullying is over. Now we either all gonna get along, or this mother's gonna burn to the ground, man. It's all divide and conquer. It's always been segregated and all that. America's more segregated now than when I was a kid. But now people are thinking you could just, treat people any old way. Now you got to think twice. You don't know who's trapped, and I like that. That's a good feeling. I feel very safe that way, man. You don't know if I carry or my buddy carries or my neighbor carries. You don't know. So now you got to think twice when you go into church and all of that. And even when I go to church, I'm going to say, hey, man, I'm going to sit around the brothers and say we should all be strapped. So if an interloper comes in and starts some stuff, just goodbye. Say hello to Jesus, But I'm going to say this. Black folks, get armed, man. Get some kind of weaponry in your home, If you're going to die, man, God bless it, die like a man, die like a woman, man. But take these bastards out with you. I mean, that's just the way it is. The day of nice is over, It's Kevin, I'm out.